I'm back with another video, and this time I'm going to be talking about Mccree Brig comps, or 3-2-1, or whatever you want to call it. Um, so I'm just going to go through strengths or weaknesses of the comp, and ways you can really like abuse the composition against certain comps. So to start off with, we're going to go through its pros and cons. Its pros, obviously, it's got two forms of CC, and obviously you have Discord stuns. You have a lot of burst damage with the Mccree. The cons are, if a team doesn't let you set up properly, or if they don't have anything to really quote unquote CC or hard lock down, like a Winston or a Farah, for example, I think this comp falters. What I mean by that is, if you played standard goats against against Mccree Brig, you're probably gonna win if you play proactive and you don't take free spam and don't have to burn resources. What I mean by burning resources is you don't burn Rhine Shield just because Mccree spamming. You don't burn Zarya Bubble just because Mccree spamming, and you get value from bubbles. So playing explosive against this comp with Orion as standard goats would be very punishing. The reason why people mostly run it is because it's very good at punishing high mobility heroes, like the anti-goats, like the Winston floats. In my opinion, some teams will say it was not good against floats because Winston can hard engage and separate everybody. But if the core three stay together, if Zen, Brig, and Mccree always stay together, like they have speed boost, they have a lot of CC, a lot of damage, they shouldn't die to a monkey 1v4. So that's why it's important to have those three close together. As for Okay, so we'll talk about playing it into floats first. So playing it into floats with Ana Zen on defense, which most teams do. I'm not saying all teams will do this. Like, they can switch these two out. You could probably go Zen Lucio Brig and just play really proactive with this. But in this instance, we're going to try a double main support for this comp. So if, let's just say, for example, we've scouted and we see that they have this comp and they're controlling high ground. In my opinion, the best thing to do is try and stay away from them and bait them to contest the point, right? So everyone would just go understairs. Everyone would get. Let's just pretend that everyone's understairs right now, because otherwise it's going to get messy, me dragging people around. But everyone's top of stairs. As soon as you get to the top of stairs, you should speed boost and go into this room. Now, the reason why that is because they're probably going to use resources here. Like, they're probably going to try an Ananade. They're probably going to try trying to get a 5 orb or something along those lines. But the reason why you want to rotate under instead of taking high ground is, if you guys go high ground together, they have an AoE monkey, they have a Zarya who's going to get high charge, they have Ana, they have Zen, so no one's really going to die in the choke, apart from you guys. So I would suggest not going and contesting them on the high ground if they have control of choke, due to that reason. Yeah, so we're going to play under point. Reinhardt will be contesting, forcing one of the tanks to drop. So in this situation, let's just say that everyone plays as standard. A standard thing should be monkey should drop to contest. Now, when that monkey drops to contest, you need to think about one of two things. Are you stabilized? Are you anti, in other words? Did Ana use nade? Now, if Ana didn't use nade, and she doesn't have it up yet, because obviously you guys should know the timings, or at least have some idea. You do one of two things. Monkey contests. The whole point of this comp is to pressure out the monkey together using CCs and obviously the burst damage. Like, this Winston should die. Unless he jumps out prematurely, he should die. Now, the things that should happen during this time is you need to eat the nade. You need to pressure the Ana or Zen to the point where... Okay, let me just explain this. So you guys speed into the monkey, right? Ana is wide open, you got your backlines wide open. At this time, D.Va should be holding DM or flying into the Ana, and then as the team says monkey disengaged or monkey dead, she can then drop, or she can turn around if she's still using her boosters at this time. So she's basically just flying into a holding DM, and then as the team says monkey's out or monkey's dead, she then drops down and tries to play like behind shield again. Now, if you kill the monkey, let's say for instance the monkey died, monkey's dead, that's graveyard, over this side is graveyard. What do they need to do now? Okay, so we should try and LOS this as much as possible. So everyone should try and hide behind the payload without standing too close to this wall, because Ana can land a nade. So you could do one of two things. Everyone could go reset back inside, and Reinhardt can continue to contest and then regen his shield when he needs to. and you're getting free ticks. You do not need to play it. You do not need to chase them up the stairs because you have point control. What do they need to do? Well, they need to drop to contest, right? So it's all about playing around your CDs. So let's just say D.Va goes to contest. Hey, I'm going to try and stall for our monkey. You do the same thing. Hey, we're going to speed into this D.Va if she drops. Same thing. You'll all go in and then you just pressure the Ana. You don't need to kill the Ana. You just need to keep her occupied long enough that your team can then pressure the point and keep control of it. And then if D.Va dies, again, you reset. You just play around the Rein shield. They don't have much shield break other than Zen spamming. Maybe Zarya, I guess, but Zarya should be reload charge. Yeah, that's how you should 101 play the composition if the enemy team allows you to do that. Now, if I was the enemy team in this situation and I knew exactly what they were going to do, I wouldn't let them rotate for free. What I mean by that is, let's just say Winston calls, hey, they're going under, and I'm like, okay, I can play proactive here. I would save my nade for one. I would be really hesitant to use it for this reason. If they come out of choke, you want to jump onto them with your 2 dive tanks and your Brig. You want to stun their, you can also use bubble on your Winston to take the brute of the force, by the way. You should look to stun the D.Va and time it with your Ana. Okay, I'm looking to stun here. Stun and then land the nade. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done. But if I was against this composition and I couldn't give them map control, I would do that. Another thing you could do is, instead of you like contesting them, you know they're going to transition into this room, right? So you could, in theory, one sec, sorry. Oh my god, what is wrong with this thing? You could, in theory, just stick like, oh my goodness, 1 tank here, 1 tank here, and control the doors, and just keep putting pressure on them. Your Zarya could drop at this point, and you can keep 3, Brig, sorry. Brig like this. Now the reason why you want to keep your Zarya here is because, one, if you have too many people on one side, you're going to favor into them. So if you have like a split pattern, obviously it's easier to throw bubbles. It's easier for Brig to. I think the Zarya should be close to better. So she's not in LOS. Or she could hide around this side. Like honestly, like there's no right or wrong positioning here, but just don't stand in the open when there's a Mccree firing. Because Zarya is more useful on the ground rather than on the high ground. She's not really useful. Now, they don't have any like hard dive. They can't commit onto your backline at this point. So you just need to hold them. You need to pressure them, force them to use resources to get out of the choke. If they hard engage into your monkey, then your Brig looks for stun on the D.Va, and then you throw a nade. And you should win that fight. You might lose your monkey, but you're trading one for a fat nade. This is where it comes down to like the goals of the team comp. So if you're against this, your Brig's whole job is to stun the D.Va and communicate when she is, so that the Ana can get a fat nade, or at least attempt a fat nade. So they're pressuring your monkey, D.Va is going to DM their Ana, and then you just stun, throw nade. So that's how I would counter that. So let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say we got to, let's talk about floats a little bit and then we'll change it back to other comps. Let's just say the blue team lost. They're resetting. How would you then play against it now? It's mostly a reactive sort of comp, right? So you push the payload, blah, 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 blah. Winston needs to use his mobility to get in because obviously he died and he's reset and he needs to create space, right? And that's the whole objective of floats. So Winston jumps in. What can you do? He's probably going to bubble and they're probably going to use Zarya bubble. So what can you do? If Winston jumps in, you kite backwards. Or if you're in a position to, you go forwards. You can do one of two things. It just needs to be pre-called so that people know what's going on. So be like, okay, if Monkey jumps in, we're going forward now because we have X thing. Okay, if Monkey jumps in, we're going to kite now because they have X thing or we don't have X thing. Again, this is down to your macro caller and it should be predetermined before you go into a fight. So it's about baiting resources because they're going to use everything into the Monkey, the Zarya bubble, the bubble from the Winston. So baiting those resources and taking the map control back. So you would say, for example, you'd back up. Let's just say the payload's there. We all back up, we disengage. Monkey bubbles here. We just shoot the monkey bubble, then we take map control afterwards. Basically, that's the 101 of Mccree and Brig. There's not much to it. It's basically you're not a full-on aggressive team comp, but you're not a full-on regroup team comp. You can do both. As long as you play the map correctly, and obviously you don't take fights that you won't win, i.e. the big healing on the high ground and the Zarya. So let's just say they have a Pharah now, right? Let's just say on defense you scouted the enemy team and they have a Pharah. Well, it's kind of the same way, except you can do one of two things now. Let's just got this base feels weird. Let's just say they're running Monkey, they're running Zen, Diva. Run Zarya? No, you won't run Zarya. Zarya's out. Goes out. Brig is out. So you probably want to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to think what else you would run with this. I haven't really seen any Pharah comps. Okay, let's just say Doomfist. Oh, that's the wrong color. Doomfist, right? So what is their objective? Well, mostly it's about spam. Mostly it's about controlling the high ground to not allow them to have easier access into your deep Pharah, and so on and so forth. So what can you do? There is no secret ingredient to this because there are multiple things that could go wrong if you go certain locations. Like if you go underground, you're going to get spammed in a rotation to this, you're going to get knocked up by a Doomfist, you're going to get knocked around by Diva. So I would suggest taking the easier option, or I say easier. Obviously you need to rotate together, right? You need to be so far up each other's asses that your backline does never get spammed by Pharah. And you want to take the most open space possible. So if I was in this situation, maybe I could rotate through main, keep my back towards them, and then keep your Mccree in an open space. Now the problem with this is you are opening yourself to Doomfist. Now this is where your Brig and your Mccree stun is super important, because Doomfist is probably going to engage, or the Monkey is going to engage. Now if I was to choose which one I would get rid of, it'd be Doomfist, because he can insta-kill anyone on that team apart from Diva and Rein. In this time frame of them engaging, your Diva needs to do her job, right? So this is where the change of Mccree and Diva comes into changing who's dealing with the Pharah. So if they're engaging on us, Diva needs to deal with the Pharah. I'm not saying kill the Pharah. I'm saying put pressure on her to allow them to the Mercy, then to think twice about leaving the Pharah. And secondly, you're not, because right now your Reinhardt's going to get knocked up. Let's just say your Reinhardt's dead. Your Reinhardt's out the fight, but you trade the Doomfist, and the Pharah's been spamming this whole time. You're probably all low HP if the Diva doesn't fly into her. So let's just say the Pharah does go into that, and then the Mercy might think, oh, Doomfist is low, I can leave her, and then you might get the trade kill. Like your Diva might be able to kill the Pharah. That you're putting your Mercy at risk also, and also the fact that now the Doomfist is dead, the Reinhardt is dead. You can now focus the Monkey, and he's used his mobility, so he can't get out. They do not have the healing without Mercy to keep up the tank / Doomfist. Obviously, at this point, Diva's DMing, but DM doesn't last too long, so you should be fine. So if you're playing reactive, Diva is going into the Pharah. If you're playing proactive, obviously it's the same thing. But obviously, let's just say, for example, they're not putting any pressure on you. They're not going to dive you. I mean, they should do, because they're giving you too much space if they don't. Your Mccree should be able to pluck the Pharah out of the sky if she has Discord, or kill the Mercy, either one, if you have Discord on the Pharah. So yeah, again, it's all about knowing everyone's responsibility when something happens. If you're playing proactive, Mccree is dealing with the Pharah unless he's told not to. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to say use the Mccree stun and then fan a hammer on a Reinhardt, for example, let's just grab a Reinhardt real quick. Let's just pretend that we're doing Reinhardt, Doomfist, this sort of comp. Just ignore it. This doesn't work, but I'm just saying as an example. So you want to say, hey, I want to flashbang this Reinhardt proactively. So you're going to speed boost in, and you're going to run up and flashbang the Reinhardt. In this time, Diva needs to pressure the Pharah. It doesn't have to be flying into her 100 to 0 her. Just hold DM, fly into her to create pressure to force her to focus you. The problem the problem that you have is you have to make sure, as a D.Va player, that you don't overextend and you don't go too early. Because your team needs to do something in that timing window of you flying into the Pharah. Because let's just say, for example, they're not playing proactive. Um, we've got the point control. We're ticking down, and then D.Va for some reason flies into the Pharah. What's going to happen? Doomfist is going to go up and punch her. Winston or Ryan. Winston is just going to tase her, and we've lost our only quote unquote two-way condition for pressure. Because she can DM Doomfist, she can DM the Pharah efficiently. So let's just put that out the way. So a good example of that would be, let's just say they have this positioning, which is garbage, by the way. Let's just say, hey, I'm speed boosting into the monkey. Then she flies into the Pharah. She has to wait for the go call from the primary target caller to therefore do her job. Unless they're playing proactively, then you should know, hey, my Mccree needs to deal with this Doomfist. I need to deal with the Pharah. So it's D.Va understanding her job, and obviously the team understanding that we need to communicate when we're pressuring so that D.Va can do her job. Against anti-goats is basically the same thing, except Sombra is the priority of D.Va, because if your Reinhardt's hacked, he can't do anything, he can't shield anything, damage is permanent, and he's probably going to die. So if there was Doomfist and if there was Sombra, then your D.Va should deal with the Sombra in terms of like mid-fight pressure, and then Doomfist and Winston should be dealt by the two forms of CC, which are Mccree and Brig, because it's difficult for a Doomfist to be dealt with by a D.Va other than eating his pellets. But new Doomfist has made him a little bit more mechanically demanding, so I doubt we'd see a lot more brain-dead Doomfist players. This composition against goats shouldn't work, but you can make it work if you can control high ground. So let's just say, let's put all this away. I'll give you an example of how it can work, but it won't. It's really map dependent. Like honestly, like running this into goats is basically a high risk, high reward. Let's just say for whatever reason, you don't need those two up there. It's probably better to show you on a different map actually. Let me show you on a different map. Let's run it on a good one we can try is Hanamura. Okay, so let's try second point because this is a good example. So we have, I'm just going to show you what it would be on the attacking team. And then obviously, where's Mccree? Okay, so let's just say everyone's going high ground, right? Everyone is happily going high ground. And you're rotating in this direction to therefore walk to point. So who does what? The idea is that Reinhardt, everyone stays together up until the point where you want to contest point. So Reinhardt would then drop down with D.Va, with Lucio, and these three stay on the high ground for now. Brig stays on the high ground for now. Once you guys start contesting the objective, let's just say, I don't know, they got a few late spawns, they have a Reinhardt on point, and they have Zarya on point, and I don't know, let's just say they are running double main support. Where's Zen? Okay. Let's just say they're running this, and we take map control. Now we're in the clear, right? They don't have anything to necessarily hard dive us. But then they swap. In spawn they have okay, let's just skip that for a second. So now that we have map control, Brig can drop because Brig doesn't benefit to anybody other than throwing a random heal here every so often and peeling maybe for the backline. These two need to stay on the high ground. The reason why is because against goats, Zen and Mccree are easy targets because of a low HP pool. And everyone on that team apart from Reinhardt and D.Va can get instantly exploded if a good goats team plays proactive. They probably should have had this instead of Zen. So they're going to play proactive on us. So you guys stay high ground, so you can do your job a lot easier, and you're also not a quote-unquote target. The reason why Mccree and Zen stay up on the high ground is, let's just say, I don't know, we killed 2 people, these guys are regrouping, we have point control. So what is the whole purpose of 2CP on second point? It's to kill the healers, because you have spawn advantage, for one. So let's just, so if we kill the Zen, they do not have main healing, they do not have the Discord. If we kill the Mccree, they do not have damage. So the whole objective of the enemy team is to try and get in the backline. So you wanna force them to run resources into your backline. Let's just say they change the Reinhardt to Winston, be like, hey, I'm gonna charge the backline. So these two would go up high ground. What's happening in the meantime? We have point control, we have ticks. And they're gonna be like, oh fuck, we need to contest the point. Let's just go Hammond. Hey, I'm gonna contest the point. I'm stunned, and then we're gonna try and burst down the Hammond as fast as possible. Meanwhile, these two need to keep on high alert for swaps. So say for example, if Lucio sees them, anyone could call it, hey, Winston and Doomfist going high ground. Rotate this side. As long as you're still in LOS of your team, you're fine. But the reason why you want to rotate this side is because you want to make the engage distance as long as possible so that you can prepare for it. You don't want to be sitting like right here because you're too close and you won't be able to see them engage. So you want to rotate on the opposite side of them. The only time I would ever say that you don't want to really control high ground is if they swap to a Widowmaker on defense, which most teams do, just to kill the people on the backline. Then you want to drop and you want to rotate like this. So you want to have your backs against that choke instead. But yeah, it's all about forcing the high ground basically, keeping the Brig with these two until it's secure. The high ground is yours, and then your Brig can drop down and enable the Reinhardt again. I hope that wasn't too confusing. I actually felt like I confused a few people with that. But yeah, that's basically a rundown of Brig Mccree comp, in my opinion, how it should be played against certain comps. I don't think it's good against goats unless, again, map dependent. If you can keep your Brig Mccree and Zen on the high ground and still be effective in the fights without being completely run over, then I think it's fine. The problem is, obviously, you either play really proactive and force them to fight you while with the pressure from the Zen and Mccree from the behind, or if they play proactive on you, you kind of have to kite and give up map control, because if you try and take the brunt force fight, if they're the ones that pull the trigger first, you're probably gonna lose. But yeah, other comps it should work if you play it correctly and and you have a plan in mind before it happens. Okay, hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. Hope this helps. I used webcam today. I don't know why I used webcam today. I guess it's more like interactive if you see me speaking and like pointing things out. But yeah, let me know in the description if you like that. Alright, thanks for watching guys, see ya.